brief. So the biggest news that we got was we recently were awarded $300,000 to help build the Entergy and Advanced Manufacturing workforce of Washington County. That was a competitive grant, about 120 applications. They only selected 15. We were fortunate to be one of the 15. We also received an additional $30,000 from MasterCard to continue assistance on small business entrepreneurship along Nelson Street and continuing the revitalization of the Shotgun property there. Currently, what we are working on is we should have Chuck Sexton's information by the end of the month. That will give us the site schedules for the rest of the county. I will be going over those with him, but hopefully releasing something to you all publicly in May. I do know that it will probably have a heavy focus on the airport property. So we're currently working with Entergy to begin parcel some of that out for a new industrial site within the county. We are seeing an uptick currently in RIFs for Washington County, which is always good news. In fact, this month we've submitted 3 of them already. So I think that energy power plant's already beginning to make its way externally. I do know that we received an award from the Southern Economic Development Council for getting that power plant. So that helped kind of put us on the map with some of these industrial partnerships, which I think will only probably increase, especially as that thing comes online in 2028. So that is my report for this month.
All right. Any questions? Justin, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Nolan Andrews.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Nolan Andrews with the Home Insurance Agency in Leland. I'm here to present the property and liability insurance renewal, which also includes all your auto, property coverage, equipment, your law enforcement, legal liability, and your directors and officers coverage. Coverage is offered through Massett, who's been insuring the Board of Supervisors for the last 8 years. They continue to be the most competitive option out there for the county. Last year we expired just shy of $700,000 in premium. This year's renewal is $720,875, which is around a 3% increase. Insurance world, that's about as good as you can get nowadays. I did reach out to several of the carriers. Some reasons for declination were exposures, primarily the jail risk, the prison, and the complexity of that. So we're insuring $160 million in property values, right at $10 million in auto coverage, and $5 million in equipment. And throughout the term that you've been with Massett, they paid out $3.3 million in claims. Last year was a very good year claims-wise, only paying out about $130,000. So keep the claims down, and obviously it helps insurance rates.
Any questions?
I'm gonna go back to Chris. So, did we have to get a new one and price went up?
No, still with MAIS, but some carriers just don't like that exposure, just with the high risk.
So even they can compete or get it, go the same company?
This is the same carrier, that's correct.
All right. If there are no other questions, Mr. Andrews, we appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Lowe?
So moved to approve.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Ms. Carter. And a second, Jerry. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Always good to have good help.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you. Come on up, Ms. Lowe. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, how are
Good
you
morning.
all?
We
Good
well.
morning.
Thank you for coming.
I am Ashley Lowe, and I stand before you today not just as an advocate for my father, but also for the voice of many others who are suffering due to the continued failure to address hazardous road conditions in Washington County, particularly on and around Johnson Road. And I'm not talking about the Johnson Road by the air base. I'm talking about Johnson Road that is adjacent to VFW. I believe my father brought his concerns to the board on and around July of 2023. And here we are, nearly 2 years later, still waiting for some meaningful action. This is no longer just an oversight. It is a clear and dangerous failure to uphold the duty to maintain safe and accessible roads in the county. A few weeks ago, my dad had some car trouble. And so he had car trouble while here in Greenville. My brother stays in Greenville, so he went to my brother's house to have his car looked at or whatever. They put a temporary fix on his car, and Daddy headed back home out to the county. Shortly after he left, my brother realized Dad left his cell phone. We have no way of getting in contact with him. So he called me and my sister, and he was like, hey, if you're trying to get in contact with Dad, can't I have his phone? Me being worried, I called my neighbor, my dad's neighbor, who stays less than a quarter of a mile away from him. I said, hey, can you drive over to check on Dad just to make sure he got home safely, he doesn't have his phone? She said, I would, but I can't. Like, it's dark outside. I can't see. It was a heavy rain the day before. I don't feel safe driving my car out of my driveway to go around the corner to check on your dad, because it's not only going to be a danger to my vehicle, but I feel unsafe as well. And then she went on to explain to me that she does not drive at night out there. There's no lighting. Certain parts of the bypass, I understand, are still under construction. There's no railing. I grew up out there. I know those roads like the back of my hand. So does my brother. My brother took my daddy's phone. He literally called me and my sister en route back to his house. He was like, I'm just calling so y'all can talk me through, like so y'all can know I made it back to my house safely. He said, yes, Daddy has the tendency to over-exaggerate, but he is not over-exaggerating about this. The conditions of these roads are awful. So I'm aware of MDOT's ongoing efforts per their press release to finish up the bypass by the fall of 2025. I understand that they're making improvements, they're putting guardrails on the bypass, but although these improvements are commendable, they do little to address the immediate need for improvements to the roads now. Many of the residents in that area are elderly, including my father. They don't have the luxury of adjusting to unsafe road conditions, lack of proper road lighting, half-patched potholes that literally turn into small ditches after a heavy rain. This creates a situation that's not just inconvenient, it is outright dangerous. The closure of the Flanagan Road Bridge only makes matters worse. It forces residents who stay out there to drive in excess of 10 miles. Like, they have to go out of town to come into town being Greenville. It increased not only travel costs, but it also has real-world consequences. In the event that emergency personnel has to be dispatched to anyone out there, they don't know how to get there. They would literally get lost, or the time that it takes them to find those residents could literally put their lives on the line. I'm aware that residents have been advised to be patient while contractors complete the work on the bypass, and that the roads that have been damaged due to the construction and the heavy duty equipment, that they will eventually be restored. But with all due respect, that response is just not acceptable. Residents in this county, particularly those in my father's census block, can't afford to wait for an indefinite promise of progress while their roads remain hazardous today. Telling residents to be patient does not address the immediate safety risks, and progress is not an excuse for inaction. You don't get to build one thing while allowing another to fall apart. So if contractors are required to restore those roads, it is my opinion that it's the board's responsibility to take immediate actions to ensure that those residential roads, especially those that are heavily traveled by vulnerable residents, don't remain in disrepair for months and years. Let me be clear. If a resident, a child, an elderly person, or any member of that community is injured or worse because of those road conditions, it will be more than just a moral failing. it is a matter of legal liability. The danger is real, the risk is known, and the responsibility is yours. And so I strongly implore you to do 4 things. Immediately allocate some funding to repair those roads, please. Install proper lighting to ensure safer nighttime travel. Thirdly, ensure proper drainage and resurfacing so that temporary patches don't simply wash away with the next heavy rain. And lastly, and I believe the most important thing, is to please publicly communicate to the residents out there a timeline as to when repairs will take place so that they know when they can expect relief. There is anxiety and stress about not knowing. Like I said, we are talking about a lot of elderly residents. My dad is probably the youngest person out there, and he's 65. And so he, has conversations with people that he sees repairing the roads, and they may tell him, yeah, the bridge will be fixed up on state inspection, but everybody else, they don't know. They have no idea what's going on. I felt so bad having talked to my dad's neighbor because she literally felt like she was a prisoner in her own home. She was like, I can't leave. Yeah, I want to go check on your father, but I can't. So, like I said, those are the 4 things that I ask of you. And while I no longer live locally in Greenville, let me assure you, I have nothing but time to follow up, document every delay, and hold this board and every agency, organization, and entity accountable for inaction. The issue won't be dismissed. I won't forget about it. I won't let it get buried under bureaucracy. I will continue to press for action until those roads are properly repaired, they're properly maintained, and safe for the people who depend on them every day. I urge you to act before this preventable crisis becomes a tragedy, because if and when it does, the liability will rest on whatever entity is responsible.
Thank you, Ms. Lowe.
Thank you.
Don't leave. Clay, come up. Give us an update.
Morning, everybody. I ain't gonna keep y'all long. I had the pleasure last week meeting with Mr. Andy McNair with MDOT. He's a project manager with that bypass coming through. I took Mr. Andy on a ride on all these roads that Utah had traveled doing the bypass project. And he documented, and we got mileage, and he's got notes made. And he said he would definitely be getting with the board and Utah on getting that addressed. He agreed these roads were in bad shape.
Okay.
We've got Coon Road, we've got Black Bar Road, we got VFW Road, we got Haxton Road, we got Archer Range Road. Those were the roads that was traveled.
Yeah. You should have got a list of those on a text message a while back. A list of all the roads.
When did y'all take this trip?
That was last week. I think it was on a Thursday, Friday, maybe.
And did he go on Johnson Road?
We started at the Johnson Road at the VFW. The Johnson Road issue, that wasn't traveled by Utah because it's just a dead end on Johnson Road. We think we have a problem on Johnson Road, and I've worked with Mr. Hooker on it. We think we've got some water trapped under the road at the beginning up there, maybe that's gonna have to be dug out, but Mr. Hooker's working in on looking at that.
All right, we need to get that dug out, whatever repair he can be. Sorry, Ms. Brooks.
Do you think some of that drainage may have something to do with the building? Because actually we have another road, I can't think of the name of that road. I brought to the board's attention before. There's a really bad, brought to your attention, I just can't think what road it is right now. Y'all working on a bridge, I think, over there. But it's a real bad drainage problem, and actually it's in District 2. The homeowners was explaining to me that they never had
Problem until they stopped building the bypass. So
Right.
I guess your concern, do you think is it possible this drainage problem has to do with the bypass?
Anything's a possibility. It could be a possibility with some of the drainage they put in. Maybe we're not getting some water off. I'm hoping that's not the issue. I'm hoping all that was looked at and studied before they done it.
I have a question. Did you get a chance to look at what we talked about this week?
I went over and looked at it several times, while we're preparing the plan for the bridge, and it'll be let shortly. We just got our environmental stuff back last week, so we're in the process of getting that let. I've gone through it, after Clay advised me, about Johnson Road, I went out and looked, and it's like a lot of our other county roads, I don't think, it's not been affected. Material, the road itself from the bypass construction, the access to that road, has. The direct access has kind of been rerouted where you got to go over there to get here to get to the road, but we had nothing to say about that. But the road itself is like a lot of them in the county, people that own the land tried to develop it and sell some lots off, and they went in and cut a little road in and put some gravel on it, sold lots, and the people that bought it were, glad to be out in the country and building a house and did better, but the land itself is low, so the drainage is poor to begin with.
So there's never no infrastructure done in the area.
Not, the county didn't do it, the developer did it and didn't do a good job of it, and then when they started having problems with it, and they saw this should have been done right, the drainage addressed properly to begin with, and the road construction didn't, they came to the county years ago, and the county took it in, and that's kind of inherited the problem. And, Mr. Perry did a real good job trying to go out and pave it, but, if you don't take care of the drainage first, the paving's just not gonna last. And so, planning to make some improvements to it, but it all needs work,
You good, Ms. Brooks? Ms. Norris?
Also,
Make Johnson Road a priority,
All right,
and we'll get that squared away.
sounds good.
Go ahead, finish up, I'm sorry.
Also, we've got our annual road inspection, it's due, I believe it's.
To do now. It was due in January.
All right, so whenever y'all would like to get together
All
on
right.
that, please let me know. And we can-
Second meeting of the month, next month. That'll be April 21st.
Okay.
Everybody good with that? Great. Now, I need a motion. April 21st. All right, for the minutes. We can schedule for the schedule of our annual road inspection, April 21st, I'm sorry.
So many.
Got a motion?
Second.
Thank you, Tommy.
Also,
All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Go ahead.
Also, with Mr. McNair with MDOT, I told him if he had any more questions or wanted to come back and take a look, please contact me. It didn't matter what time it was, I'd oblige.
Now, we have,
Did he give a timeline of when he would reach out to?
He did
Utah?
not,
The reason why I asked, because we did come before our board before they started working, said they were gonna repair the roads. And the first three roads, they just came through gravel out there,
Yep.
made it even worse, especially for the plant company.
the flower shop out there.
Yeah, and so we got a situation where the white rocks, the white bills are still just flying on people's homes. They can't sit outside because every time somebody drive by, it's just straight white out there. She lost, really because a lot of her flowers got white dust all on it. And so my biggest concern is repairing the road is not putting the white dust out. Corn Road, we had just did Corn Road, completely done Corn Road. 3 months later, they started the bypass, no problem. But my biggest concern is holding Utah accountable. They said they were going to repair it, but their former repair is not a repair, it's actually, it was an insult.
Yep, and, glad you brought the flower shop up. I met with Miss Knoxville, she's the one that owns it. The dust is bad out there, so I'm gonna address with that in front of the flower shop there to try to get that dust cut down somehow.
Well, I mean, they came and sprayed water on it, that did not work. The issue is, the road needs to be blacktop.
No, that's right, that's right.
how'd the dust control work out the other day?
It's horrible.
No, he put a chemical on
The
it.
dust control didn't
didn't do anything?
as good as we thought it was gonna
And what
work.
kind of thing did you put on?
It's called a ground glue, and what it's for is it's supposed to cut the dust down on anything dusty, but it
Okay.
didn't, it's not working.
All right, now, what's the gentleman's name from MDOT?
Andy McNair.
Mr. McNair, he took the information back. He's gonna get with Utah, and they're coming to this board with a presentation with a list of roads that they drove and looked at, and in order to give us a plan. They're only 50% complete with the bypass, with the first layer of asphalt, the base coat. They're gonna have to go back all the way again. But while they're in the process of finishing it up, our hope is that we can get them in here. Our plan is to ask and insist on them coming in and start the repair of the list of roads that were looked at the other day, and we can still add additional roads that we may have missed. We'll get that list and send it back out again. But this thing is being headed up and pushed by Commissioner Simmons. The meeting that happened last week is one that was arranged on the assistance of this board for the last month or so, but we finally got it underway. The plan is to bring the MDOT engineer in and develop a plan for restoration of the county roads that have been damaged as a result of this project. What did I miss, Clay?
I also, this morning, I spoke with Jed Stevens. He's the manager, regional manager over APEC for this area. Called him this morning, kind of just had some concerns about, with us getting the blacktop like we did last year. It's kind of hard to get. And he was aware that they were gonna come back in and cap that bypass again. That was gonna take a lot of mix, but he assured me that for us to be able to get some for our personal roads that we operate and do yearly, that shouldn't be a problem. He said that they were looking into doing better scheduling this year than they did last year to be able to get everybody accommodated with mixed. So he did send me the numbers to the plant manager here. I'm gonna be contacting him, sitting down with him this afternoon, getting his scheduling for when they're planning on firing up on that bypass, but he said they're looking at like May, June, and July. That's what they're looking like, starting back on their paving.
This may be for Mark. What about the bridge that she was talking about, Flanagan Bridge? Is that one that's going to have to be replaced, or can it be repaired, or what's going on?
Oh, you talking about on VFW?
Well, the bridge she mentioned. Yeah, the bridge, yeah.
They're repairing it for the time being, and
Okay.
we're gonna,
Okay, so that's one we can repair and not, it's, okay. What's the schedule on that? I mean, as far as getting to it? I know y'all are on one now. If there's something we can do in-house, how long before you get to that?
The one there on the VFW Street by Tim Shop? We're done with it.
we're done with the one, there by the.
So is it back open now?
No,
No.
No.
inspection should be.
We've been calling, from the day, matter of fact, before they got there, we knew the day they were gonna start setting slabs back, we called for a re-inspection. And, have called, about twice a week since, and I talked with, David Barrett, state aid yesterday, Friday, and he promised me he would have them up here this week to get it re-inspected, opened up.
So as soon as they re-inspect it, everything goes well, we can open it back up.
They'll back to the end where they had to dig out.
Okay.
And it'll be, we will have authority with state aid to open it back up, and I'm sure Clay will open it up today.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yes, going back to the lighting, I was gonna just evaluate this year on, Johnson Road.
What we'd have to do is just make a request and open an account for that road. It's a cul-de-sac, it's not that long. If that's what you would like to see happen, we'll go ahead and make that happen.
And just to clarify, it doesn't necessarily, I'm not necessarily talking only about Johnson.
Understand.
I'm talking about, just
Out there, period.
Greenville, it's just dark, extremely dark.
Yeah, it's extremely dark up and down a number of county roads, and when you have hazards, bridges, that kind of thing, curbs, we do everything we can to go ahead and light those areas up. But it would take a massive effort, plus quite an expense, to light the county up, a light every 400 feet. But for particular areas that need some attention from a safety perspective, we can do that. And we can. Got a motion and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. What we'll do, we'll go ahead and put the work order in. We'll have to set up an account, Ms. Carter, and do the routine.
Well, I guess,
What about the railing?
Which she was talking about railing on the bypass, I believe.
Right, I know that's probably in MDOT's
Yeah.
purview, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Yeah.
They're starting to put guardrails on the bridges now. They want to get most of the asphalt placed and all the shoulders, but they're starting to put the barrier rail up on just the guardrails, on just the bridge. And the railing, as far as the right of way is concerned, they're fixing the right of way because it's a controlled access
Okay.
type road, and they're putting those fences up now, but the only railing, specifically, they'll be putting up will be on the bridges.
Yep. Anything else, Ms. Brooks? All right.
Thank
Yep.
you, I appreciate you having me.
Thank you, Ms. Lowe. And what we'll do when we get the MDOT person in to give us an update on a schedule for the repairs, we'll reach out and make sure you're aware of it.
Okay, I'll email the
Okay. Clay, anything else for us?
Last thing I got, the bridge that we're working on Man Extended between 438 and Wilmot, they should be wrapping up the end of this week. You know, I spoke with Daniel and I think Mr. Hooker. I don't know if it was Mr. Hooker, but Daniel. We don't have to leave it closed whenever we're done with it because we caught the issue and addressed it ahead of time. So
Okay.
we'll be good with that by the end of the week. That'd be back open.
All right, good deal.
All right. Appreciate you, Clay. Jay Knight. Oh.
What's Blake's appointments next? We just approved it.
Okay.
I would like to appoint, Mr. Willie Shelton to the Sportsplex Board. He's outside, he's there.
That's your pick.
That's my pick.
I got a motion? And a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Jerry? Demetrius, I got a motion and a second to bring Demetrius Warren back. Got a motion and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I have a question.
You passed
for
us.
Mr. Knight. Are you a resident of Washington County?
I am. I got an apartment on Cypress Lane.
You're a resident.
I can give you the lease. You're welcome to it. I've had a lease since I sold that house that you got on the paper.
Reason why I asked, because I had 3 or 4, parents with the, soccer team. They reached out to me and they brought to my attention, Judge, you were not a resident. That's
Yeah, so I signed my lease July 18th of 23.
Yeah, that's a lot of personal information, Mr. Knight. Appreciate
I
you.
got one other question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a reason why you are not, your voting record is inactive?
It is because,
That's a personal thing, Mr. Knight.
okay.
I just want to know if you're a resident.
I'm a resident.
All right.
You are welcome to my lease, Ms.
I
Brooks.
don't want your lease, I just want to address the concerns of the soccer moms that brought it to my attention.
And they are welcome to call me and they are welcome to see it
They reached
themselves.
out to me.
I don't have anything to hide. I promise you, I don't have anything to hide.
Anything else, Ms. Brooks?
For now.
Thank you, Hill. You passed out a resume as well on DeMarcus McKinley.
Yeah. Well, I just want
Once-
everybody to know he is very much interested on being on the Sportsplex, and so we have another opening. Marcus McKinley, but he's, I just wanted to share it, I passed it out before,
His-
and I know that, some appointments were made, and he was, I initially submitted his name was overlooked at the last appointment. And actually, I just want people to know his background. He was initially, recognized by the Mississippi High School Association as the, coach of the year, and I brought his name up before, and because I was not here, he was completely overlooked, and I brought his name up. I submitted his resume prior to, today, and he was completely overlooked. So I just want to put it on the table that if we have other positions available, that, Mr. McKinley be considered as a member of the Sportsplex Board.
Outstanding. Be a good member. Anything else, anyone? Ms. Knight, it's on you.
All right. I just got a couple of things. I've got, so we've looked into putting the parking blocks out in the parking lot to help with the flow of traffic and parking because some folks can't park out there. And they're double parking, triple parking, blocking cars in.
All right. Lee,
I
Jerry,
mean,
what
it's the
y'all ready?
craziest thing I've ever seen. If you look at those bids, on the back page of that, I've got an overview of the park to where we're proposing to put those. If we put 200 of them out, it will create roughly another 300 parking spots in that parking lot, just to uniform the parking and to get traffic flow going in certain directions.
Lee, Jerry.
Well, I think that, there've been some concern about that too, everybody parking on the road, so this will help us unify it, or uniform it rather, and get some more parks. So I would say, make a motion to approve the lesser bid of 10,200, and that will get 200 pavers of parking.
It'll get 200. We may not need the whole 200, but that's what we're figuring we're gonna need. I mean,
But-
we've marked it off, lined it off, and that's the count that it
And you're
comes
looking, getting both sides of that too, when they put those pavers out there.
to. Right, it'll
Somebody
be a
park on both
double-sided
sides.
park.
All right. I'd hate for you to ask the board for 200 and the board goes out there and see 50 of them sitting around doing nothing.
No, it'll.
That's your motion.
Everything will be used.
Jerry, you good? That's your second. Jerry gonna second. Any other questions?
Point of
Come on.
I see it's an $84 difference. The one company's from Jackson, is that correct?
Right, one's from Jackson, and those pavers weigh roughly 40 pounds and they're rubberized, where the others are concrete, good 150-pound pavers, and that's actually the lesser bid.
I got a question. Did you tell us to actually put a bid on the concrete pavement? So they can
That's the
bid
only
on
one,
it?
they're the only two that we found. Mr. Norris, where he went, actually got the bid for us through the county. That's who they buy from, and that's,
I'm reason I just asked because one is two different.
yeah,
pavements,
that's the
so
only two
I just-
companies we found anywhere close that we could get them shipped
I
in.
understand that, but it's clear that this company does not do concrete pavers.
No, ma'am, they don't. And that's what Mr. Norris, that's the only ones he could find.
But that's Clay.
Clay Norris.
Your road man.
You're a road manager.
Lee, you are recommending the heavier ones, the concrete, right?
Yes, the 150 pound,
That's
yeah.
the motion.
I've
Yeah.
used both of them before too, and that one's a lot better one,
Yeah, I could walk off with a 40-pound one,
yeah.
but okay, got a motion? All right, got a motion and a second, done with the questions? All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And then the only other thing I have is, we'd like to present, for our assistant director out there that was advertised, just, address it.
Lee?
Table that because, 20,000 people were not represented. We just appointed two other board members. So I'd like to make a motion that we table, the appointments until the other two sports tech members are there to make a decision.
We're already behind
I understand.
but that's, so we need to move on, because these positions are working positions, they're not management positions, they're working positions, so I make a motion that
I
we,
have a motion already.
I make a
Let's- let's-
substitute motion that we, approve the hiring of the assistant director.
I got a substitute motion asking us to move forward. I need a second. Second on the substitute motion to move forward with the selection. We are behind. It's about time we got on down the road with this thing. There are no other questions. All in favor of moving forward with the,
You gotta get a second.
I'd second it, Ms. Brooks.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. Any other questions? All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
I got one nay. I got two. Come on, tell me. Nay. And that motion failed. Now the main motion.
The main motion is to allow the other, members appointed.
You use the word table. You said table?
Well, we can table
All right,
to the
you-
other board, to the next meeting with the other board members are there to make a recommendation.
Okay.
That's my motion.
Jerry? Can you give me a second on that motion? For the weight. The table. Got a motion and a second. If there are no other questions. All in favor? Postpone.
All right, so,
We're gonna postpone.
okay.
You didn't carry the motion.
All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Nay, I'm sorry.
So the
Motion
other-
carries. We will postpone
I
till the next
apologize.
meeting.
All right, so the other question I have is, if we're gonna be short those employees, can we possibly borrow a couple from the convention center guys to help us get this thing ready? I mean, we're way behind as it is. Through no fault of ours. I mean, we had to do the interview process.
Talk to these guys right here, and they'll get you what you need.
Okay,
We'll get with Jeremy.
all right,
Okay.
all right. Anything else?
Hey, anything else, Ms. Knight? We appreciate you.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Come on.
tonight. So right now, we just have one person employed.
And we're still waiting on his paperwork to come in. We're trying to get him in,
Who is he?
Jeffrey Kelly.
Oh, what paperwork do you need from him?
Just his drug screen and background check, and he's gotta do his paper. As soon as it comes
It's just a
back.
process.
Yes, ma'am, just the process. We gotta do his paperwork with,
We
Ms.
good.
Joyce over there.
So you haven't done his paperwork yet?
We can't, we're waiting on the drug screen.
Y'all give,
It takes 2 weeks for drug screen. Depending on the individual, that's personal.
It took a week to
Yeah.
get the bond put through.
all right.
We had to wait on his bond, we had to wait on his bond.
For the drug test?
That's,
What if they can't be funded? Then what are we wasting money on the drug test for?
All right, let me,
I'm just asking so I can have clarity.
yeah, we had to wait on the bond. It took a week to get the bond in, and then he did his drug screen background check last week.
all right. It's always
We're
part
hoping
of,
it's back today.
all right, a lot of information given up. Mr. Attorney, help me out a little bit.
We do drug tests, there's nothing new about it. I am concerned about it anyway.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ms. Sheila Collins requests permission to serve alcoholic beverages at the Washington County Multiplex for homecoming event. I got a motion and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. I got it. Ms. Collins? You approved?
Nay.
Take care, I got one nay, Supervisor Goldberg is approved. Take care of necessary paperwork, make sure the sheriff department is notified. Be safe.
Thank you.
Okay. Take yours by the house. Please, thank you. All right, and the additions. The additions. I got one addition I want to add. Austin Fry, DA's office, requested permission.
I'm here on behalf of the Washington County Bar
Yeah,
Association.
let us see the picture.
This is the smaller version, the 30 by 40 composite is framed similarly to this. We hadn't done one in 14 years. We had a meeting of the Bar Association and we asked if we could hang this in the hallway right out there, about halfway down. There's a space between two small pictures. We like to hang it in the hall. They go into the Chancery Clerk's office. There's about 50% of the Bar Association doesn't practice in Chancery Court at all. So we never see the picture in Chancery Court, so we're gonna ask the board if we could hang it in the hall out there.
I gotta make a video.
The full composite's 30 by 40, I just didn't want to carry it in.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanna know.
You might not have a problem, Ms. Brooks, is that your motion?
So, second.
Okay. Got a motion and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you
Ms.
very
Fry.
much, I appreciate it.
We appreciate you, appreciate your patience. All right, any other additions? Other additions, Ms. Brandine?
Yeah, I added somebody.
What you get?
I added, long switch.
Long Switch Road. Mr. Hooker left.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we move forward to do long switch, use tax dollars and this
Glee.
I got a question using all the use tax dollars because that's for the whole county. So we need to, I mean, for a portion of it, I wouldn't have a problem with that, but there's other, other roads that need to be, some of that money needs to be spent on. How much is on the use tax?
2, 3 million.
Yeah.
How many? But, we've got that in the process right now to get funding for it.
Yeah.
The engineer's working it up. At your request, Ms. Brooks.
And that was mentioned about equipment possible for road company.
Yeah, and we can use that. We were talking about the roller machine. We need that money for the roller machine so we
Right.
can operate chip and seal and hot mix at the same time, and you're looking at almost 200,000 for that. So if whatever's in I don't have a problem, whatever's in that use tax, I mean, using a portion of it, a
No.
fifth of it, but beyond that, I couldn't go along with
We
that.
already
just
got the
for that
engineering
road.
firm doing the design work for Long Switch.
I was not aware that we had hired them to do the design work.
Well, it's
Because the
county.
last time he talked to us that, he didn't know of any dollars. Now, Mr. Gordon, I understand your concern. That's my concern too. We just gave almost $4 million of state aid dollars to District 3 to repair one road. And apparently you didn't have a problem with that.
That's a state aid, that's a state aid
Exact-
road.
ex-
And well, you asked me, I'm gonna respond
Yes,
to it.
please.
But those are the things, when you're talking about these dollars, those dollars need to be used across just like we done the ARPA funds, and I think it's just the right thing to do for everybody. I mean, every one of us, have roads and disrepair, but we need equipment and stuff too, but just to put it all on that, I just wouldn't be in favor of that, especially, maybe there's other funds out there for that, so.
Of course, I understand, but going back to state aid, we all,
Yes, ma'am.
and you voted to allow the whole $4 million.
Oh, Ms. Brooks. Hold up, folks. Take this. Yes.
As I was saying, you didn't have a problem with the $4 million going to one road. I have like 3 state aid roads. Mr. Redmond has state aid roads. District 2 has state aid roads. Even you have state aid roads, but apparently it's not a concern for you. Just as we all have state aid roads, that whole $4 million went to District 3 on one road. So if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander too.
I appreciate you, hold on, I appreciate you being concerned about my roads.
I was just
But-
bringing,
hold
and
on,
maybe you don't have roads.
I've listened to you.
You don't have to raise your voice at me.
I've listened to you.
You don't have to-
Listen to me.
Please don't
you've
raise your
had
voice
to-
at
you-
me.
What, don't interrupt me then.
Well, don't raise your
Don't
voice.
interrupt me
All right,
then.
we're gonna do
Go
this.
ahead on.
Ms. Brooks, let him go.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
So, when you were concerned about your bridge in Leland for 5 years, nobody else got anything done other than you. Jerry got a bridge built, but nobody else. You wasn't concerned about the rest of us when you spent $2.3 million on a bridge. I never got a bridge in 5 years. Carl tried to get Broadway done for the last 5 years. You wasn't concerned about that, but now you're concerned about it. Ms. Brooks, I guarantee you, in the last 5 years, you've had more money spent in your district than any other district. So I'll make my vote, and I'll stand behind that. So if you're gonna question me on every vote, then I'll start questioning you
I have
on
no-
every vote that you make. So,
I have no problem with that. Also, let's be clear. Supervisor McGee was very clear that he did not want IMS in his district. So I'm sure that's why a lot was not done in his district, okay? And as far as other projects, some projects you didn't want done either. You were not adamant about it. You were not talking to the engineering firm on a lot of projects. But I will like to bring back up, Long Switch is a very important road. We've traveled that road. We all agree the road needs to be repaired. I'm having farmers calling me about Long Switch. The dollars are there. I took time to get a project put together by IMS. Do you have a project ready for state aid, for USAC at this point?
Ms. Brooks, 5 years ago, we sit right over there in the extension building, and I asked IMS about Club 17 Road. It was never done. Now we're getting something done to it. So you say I didn't request that, that's not true at all. And so to say that I didn't request anything, and I never denied IMS doing anything, and I will not speak for the president. Obviously you will, but I won't speak for him. He can speak for himself. But I never turned down any project they were doing in my area, but they never did. There was 2 bridges that was never done, and that was one of them on Club 17. I also have people that's bedridden out there. When that bridge closes and there's a lot of rain, there's no way out. I asked for that for over 5 years, so please don't come here with that. Ask for what you want, and if you get the votes, you got it. You don't have to do all that.
Well,
You just
you are correct, but let's be clear. For the first 2.5 years, Hooker did all the work, even though we had hired IMS as the board engineering firm. And that's the thing, you leave the piece out and give a fictitious picture of what was going on. The first 2.5 years, all those projects were done by Hooker Engineering. So if you're gonna be detailed about it, and all those dollars, y'all created all those projects the meeting before I was sworn in. So I didn't even get any projects done the first 2.5 years, if you're gonna be clear about it. Now let's fast forward, and I asked you again, at this point, do you have any projects are ready for use tax?
It's
So
my
let
turn.
me be
Lee,
clear to
Lee.
you. I'm against using all the funds in your
All right.
district. You
Let
can
me-
go on all you
No
want about
problem.
this.
Lee
I'm
and Ms.
against
Brooks.
it, so.
Y'all hold up. Ms. Brooks, hold up a minute.
Well, I have a
Let me do
motion on the
this.
floor.
Let me do this for you, and let me do this for this board before you take this motion. Now, we're out of $1,039,000, and we're gonna seek to recover those funds. Don't be complicit anymore in a company that's already failed this county. I will discuss this with you all in executive session. You can come out of executive session and make your decision, not do it now.
Well, I'll wait.
Just warn you.
I can wait until we come out of executive session then to see what you have to say, because you haven't brought it.
I can only imagine what you're trying
Well, what do you think it is? No, I'm saying, if you have a tie, would you please express your concerns? No, I want to hear. See, you said I have a tie. No, I want to hear what you're talking about.
What does this week and Long Switch be? They're signed already.
So I rescind my motion till we come out of executive session.
Griff, it's executive session and a personnel matter. And in contract, I'll add potential litigation as well, once we get ready. Ms. Carter, you ready?
Good morning. We have expended 40.9% of our budget through March 17th, compares with plan of 50%. Total receipts deposited March 4th through the 14th total $486,202.67. I am requesting board approval of our claims docket totaling $337,193.89.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Judge Benny Richard of Chancery Court is requesting travel for himself, Lynette, and Carnice Woods to attend the trial and appellate judges spring conference on April 22nd through the 23rd in Biloxi, Mississippi, with estimated cost of $152 per person.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. No questions. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Requesting travel for myself to attend the Mississippi Association of Chancery Clerks, County Administrators, and Comptrollers Spring Educational Conference on April 15th through the 16th in Ridgeland, Mississippi, with estimated cost of $350.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. This battery's dead too.
Hooker Engineering is requesting payment in the amount of $5,050 for the geotechnical report done for ERBR 7608, SA 76108, Avondale Love. The report is attached, and we do have the funds.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. Thank you, Jerry. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Hooker Engineering is requesting payment in the amount of $5,520 for the geotechnical report done for SA 76280, Winterville Priscilla Road. The report is attached, and we do have the funds.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. You do have the report?
It's attached.
All right. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Timos Construction is requesting payment in the amount of $43,415, 68 cents for the concrete bollard and the transfer switch that has been completed as a part of the installation for the generator approved at the multiplex building with ARPA funds.
So moved.
I got a question with it. I gotta find out why, it's the gas line, they didn't put it in here,
It was part of the design. It was never in the initial plan.
What was not in there?
The gas line itself to the unit.
So do we just need to add it to the
Yeah.
unit?
We might have to go back and add it. Yes, sir.
Why did we not add the gas line to the unit if that's what it's needed?
I was just asking.
Yeah.
I got a motion, I got a motion and a second. That's to pay Timos. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Point of information, have they done the concrete yet? So we got to tear the concrete up.
No. They just need to run a gas line to it.
I was just asking.
All right. Come on, Ms. Carter.
Motion carried.
Yeah.
Requesting payment in the amount of $11,803.15 to the Leland Chamber of Commerce for reimbursement for their lighting project allocated with ARPA funds.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Thanks, Tom. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Requesting approval to allocate third quarter funds to the tax assessor, collector, sheriff's department, and correctional facility for the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
So moved.
Got a motion and a
Second.
All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Per the Mississippi Water Infrastructure Program, their compliance team for Black Bayou, Winterville, and Golden Acres, they have now requested that we have to spread across 4 minutes, and we have adopted the Office of the State Auditor's purchasing policy and procedures manual.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion and a second.
Say that again. For what now? What'd you say, Ms. Carter? Say that again.
For the Mississippi Water Infrastructure Program for Black Bayou, Winterville, and Golden Acres, they're now requesting that we have to spread across our minutes, that we have adopted the Office of the State Auditor's purchasing policy, although that's what we go by, but they want it spread across our minutes.
Have we done it yet?
That's what we're doing now.
Have we have a copy of it? Okay, good. So moved.
All right, make sure they get a hard copy. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move forward, Ms. Griffith, with motion and second on the floor.
Who second?
Mr. Gordon made the motion and Mr. Rivers.
Okay.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Requesting to add Tyrus Lockhart, Horace Reed, and Clayton Norris as authorized signers for purchase requisitions and receivers for the road department.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I'm requesting travel for county officials to attend the MASMC annual conference on,
That's on the thing.
What's that?
MASMC, I'm administrative, I'm assistant, secretary. We got a meeting coming up.
All, that's your motion, Ms. Coleman? Is that approved?
Yes.
Give me a second.
Second. Oh, I made the motion.
Thank you, Tom. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
things that I've received as of this morning from the Congressman office. They're requesting to use the convention center October 3rd, 2025 to host their second congressional district college and career fair.
Is it available?
So move.
I got a motion
Is it available?
and a second. Yes, it's available. Got a motion and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, this is a letter from the Washington County, Mississippi Democratic Executive Committee. Their supervisors, Washington County Democratic Executive Committee requests for permission to allow Roger Montgomery, the county's technician, to perform duties as technician April 1st, 2025, leaving Democratic Party primary and/or runoff if necessary. They're requesting permission to utilize any and all equipment and supplies necessary to conduct the election at no cost.
So move.
Got a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's it.
Well, top of this, let's do ability works right. Is that okay? We have been talking about getting extra support with trash pickup around the county. And, Ms. Carter had a meeting with a representative from Ability Works. Ability Works is the county-owned property that's under the, guidance of the state health department. And they have people with, limited abilities, working with, building pallets, that kind of thing. The same individual who built all our picnic tables, beautiful picnic tables. They are actually offering resources to come out and help with some of the trash control of picking up garbage around the county. Ms. Carter sat down and met with them. What we need from this board today is have, permission to enter into a contractual agreement with them. But first, we'll have to have transportation. Drop-off point will be the convention center. We'll have to have an individual who's gonna work with these individuals on a day-to-day basis and manage these resources. The van that we used to have with the fine worker program, some kind of way the air conditioning failed in, and it was sitting out on the property at the road department. And now it has an axle missing, doors missing, it's been severely cannibalized for whatever the reason may have been. There's a van sitting on this lot that belongs to youth board.
Yes.
And with the board's permission, we're gonna transfer it over to the road department, to Washington County Road Department. And the trailer that we still have the trailer for the fine worker program. So we'll have to create a position, have somebody who's gonna work with this team on a day-to-day basis, weather permitting, otherwise they can work within the courthouse or the convention center for some additional resources, 5 to 6 people, at no cost to the county, other than the transportation and the person that's going to manage the team. Questions?
I'm just concerned about what are we doing with that $50,000 truck and trailer that we had for the pickup trash?
It's still out there. I saw it the other day. The trailer was on the yard. I didn't see the truck. We bought a brand new Ford F-250 plus a heavy dump trailer picking up trash, also in the road department.
It could be used for us, huh?
Yeah, well, we need to make sure that's being utilized.
But they are using us in District 4 all the time, 'cause I call them about.
Elizabeth, and I call them about, you know, certain areas I see where we have a lot of pickups, so they are using it.
But this is an opportunity for additional resources.
I have a question. All right, so, you know, I think this is a wonderful program that we're about to enter into, but I know some of the people may be a little challenged.
Wait a minute, be very measured.
I said challenged. The concern is, have we identified a person who's gonna be working with them?
No,
And so,
we need permission to do that.
okay, and so my other concern is making sure that they're not in the real busy areas, like more in, you know, the quiet areas where we don't have a lot of cars, like clearly not, you know, like Highway 82 or nothing like that. No, we wanna make sure they're safe as well too.
We'll make sure they're in a safe environment.
That's why I
always.
said,
We just need permission to move forward with the, transfer of the, vehicle and the creation of a position.
so move.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. You got a question, Tom? Okay. All right, all in favor, show a sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And Ms. Carter, let's talk about, should we be in executive session? You got the two job descriptions? Safety Director and Justice Court Clerk. We've already approved for the position to be filled.
So you gonna talk about employment?
Yeah.
You got some candidates.
No, absolutely not. No, I just need the board to get their hands on the job description and the board to approve the job descriptions. Once the board approve these job descriptions, then they'll go out.
Are they prepared?
That's fine. All right. We don't need to, but there's two job descriptions that we have prepared, and that's what everybody's been waiting on for the Safety Director as well as the Justice Court Clerk. You will get those with hard copies in the box as well, along with email. Got any questions, give us a shout. Now, there are a couple of spots that's intentionally left open, and we'll review those, pay that kind of thing. Okay? We'll have a conversation about it. Go ahead, somebody, Ms.
Disaster relief preparedness.
What's the trash dumpster list? Everybody, who still has trash dumpsters in their district?
I do, and we're using them.
Trash dumpsters in their list?
Who's picking them up?
You don't share some of your district?
No.
I had mine, it was a situation not only were we having people going into the dumpsters and putting trash on the ground.
I heard they do.
We start just getting, if you look at your claims pay docket, some pretty high numbers. It's kind of hard, you know, to continue that. Now, the board had made a decision to get your own roll-offs on a truck.
Right.
You might look at, Ms. Carter pulled together the number that was spent on an annual basis for what we're currently doing, to make sure the board members are aware, so next meeting we can make a decision, an informed decision. That's how we move forward with these dumpsters. Thank you.
We had already agreed to move forward with our own dumpsters, so we were just waiting until, I think the containers wasn't the problem, it was the truck itself finding one. But if I'm not mistaken, I think he found one, a roll-off truck. So the problem was, we wasn't getting our dumpsters dumped, and they were making a mess out there. That's why we had them picked up. But I think we've already taken the vote to move forward on it, on that. We have not? We ready to?
We're just waiting until we got some ready.
Till we found, okay.
Out.
So we need that number back then, correct? We need to know what that number for the roll-off truck is, actually.
Well, no, we have to advertise.
Yeah. So can we make the motion now? I make a motion that we advertise for the roll-off truck.
And got a second, Supervisor Benson.
And dumpsters, and containers.
I'll wait till they get finished.
All right, I got a motion on the floor. Go ahead and move forward with the purchase of a roll-off truck and the dumpsters.
Well, you're gonna need at least 10. Everybody had 2 in their district. You're gonna need at least 10. So,
I need more than that.
The dumpsters kind of got to be an issue for a couple of districts, including mine.
yeah.
I got a motion and a second to move forward. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any
Yeah, I just want to make sure I keep minding my district because the city of Leland kind of man hours, making sure nobody, because we did have a situation where people were dumping in and they call it dumpster diving. They were dumpster diving, but Leland did control it. But it is very, very effective in District 4.
All right. Anything else, Ms. Carter?
I had an item. I also had disaster relief preparedness. So,
I carried that motion for the dumpster.
yeah, he carried it.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Ms. Griffin.
So I went to the NACO conference, and that's the National Association for County Officials. And again, I really, really encourage each of you to at least go to one of those conferences because it's so much information that I just can't hit everything. But I did go to the 8-hour class on disaster relief preparedness, and I will say it was so informative. They had people from, county, because you have county, Mississippi, California, and Arkansas are one of the few counties that are called supervisors. On a national level, everybody else are called commissioners. But we had commissioners from Hawaii when Maui burned. They were there. Pretty much all of Florida was at this conference, at this particular class. And then you had the people from Santa Cruz, California with the fire burn. And they talked about how do we start become prepared for disaster relief. And it's so many stages. So the first stage, and I brought it to the board's attention last year, but we haven't moved on it. The concern is identifying a company who are ready to come in to do your cleanup should you have a natural disaster. And it really caught my attention when I saw what took place in Sharkey County, which is no different from Washington County. We're not used to disasters. And so, they were blindfolded for the simple fact they're not accustomed to dealing with a tornado of that magnitude. And so when the storm took place in Sharkey County, remember the president came down, they gave him 100 days, and they would clean up for 100%. Well, the issue was they didn't start until the 96th day. No reflection of them. It's just that in our region, we never took time to start preparedness. So I had a chance to talk with Mr. EMS, and I referred him to some companies, Mr. Buford, on companies who can possibly do the relief of starting to clean debris. The next piece we need, and that's something, and you want to do this now. You don't want to try to identify someone after a storm hit because, again, in Sharkey County, you had 3 aldermen that lost everything. So mentally, if a storm hit and you got to make decisions on behalf of your city or county and you've lost your home, you can't make rational decisions at that time. So I'm encouraging this board, let's be prepared. Let's start talking about that, and let's start looking for a company that you can put on a record. So should a storm come to Washington County, we would be prepared. And one thing I did learn in Florida, areas like that, they don't just have one company, they have 3 or 4. And the concern is making sure they know all the FEMA laws, they are ready. And it's so many companies that are prepared for that. And they don't charge up front. All they do is they come in, they're gonna watch the storm. If the storm come in your area, if the storm comes your way, they are heading that way that night. You'll have them there. So in phase 2, what we need to look at, once you get that taken care of, phase 2 is called temporary housing. So the concern is when people have these natural disasters, you have to identify locations for housing. And they are recommending to have a location that's set up already where you have water and you have electricity. And you may think of a trailer park, but if the trailer park already have trailers there, or let's say it was damaged, that is concerned. So I'm putting this out here so we can start thinking about these things, that we need to start thinking about a location for water and electricity, because at the end of the day, they will be receiving FEMA trailers. So again, I saw what happened in Sharkey County. They literally had to build all of that. So I just think that we need to start thinking about, because of the storm that just took place, it was in Grace. Grace is like less than 5 miles from Washington County. And I just wanted to be a real concern for us on how do we start preparing for disaster relief. And of course, the third stage is long-term housing. But if you got 1 and 2 covered, you can automatically go straight into planning for long-term. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Ms. Carter, what we'll do is go ahead and have a conversation with Mr. Burford and talk about the cleanup aspect of it, make sure we got people that signed it with the proper documentation. We can use those resources pretty quick. As far as housing, you know, we do have temporary housing. And
I have a-
we'll get you a copy of our disaster plan, so you
Okay,
can review it.
now where would our temporary housing be? Because you gotta think
If
about
something
this.
happens right now, we put people up in the convention center. For a few days, we have cots, we have a secondary kitchen, and everything out there,
And I think that's wonderful for that time, but long,
showers and all.
yeah, but short term, you still wanna get, FEMA will bring the trailers in, but we need to be prepared for a hookup for trailers, cause people can only stay in a cot for a short period of time. Cause you think temporarily, you're talking about, you have to rebuild a whole home and everything, and no one wants to live in no convention center for the next 5 or 6 months when we can get the, FEMA trailers. So the concern is making sure we have a location somewhere in Washington County where we can easily bring in 50 or more trailers that can easily have a water and electric hookup, so people lifetime can start becoming a little bit more normal than staying on a cot.
We have maybe 150, less than 200 at the convention center, and another 100 at Warfield Point. So we have those already.
Trailers are cots.
Hookups. Yeah, that's hookups. We have the hookups. We'll get that. We'll get you a copy of the disaster response plan.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you. Oh, Mark, that. Come on.
I think Mark's back there, really.
We'll get you. Come on.
Carlos, Dwayne Thompson, Jeffrey, Robert Kelly. Both of these are sportsplex.
Is that mic on? Yes. For a minute, your battery did too. You might need to come up with your mic for dead.
I need, approval for bonds, please.
So moved.
Got a motion? And a second. Thank you. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
We'll have a request from Delta Business Journal, for the supervisor's, annual ad for the Greenville, printout.
Normally we do that ad. What do we normally pay, Ms. Carter? What we normally pay for that? Maryland, don't we?
$600.
It's $600. Any interest in continuing this process with Delta Business Journal? Yes. The answer is yes. Thank you, Ms. Brooks. And I need a second. Thank you, Jerry. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I have a memorandum from the Mississippi Association of Supervisors. The South Delta Planning and Development District Spring Regional Meeting will be held Tuesday, April 8th at 10:30 at the South Delta Planning Main Street office. The business meeting and elections will begin at 10:30. Dinner will follow at 11:30.
What
Alright.
day is this again?
April 8th.
Ms. Carter, can you remind me of this?
Remind us all. The association sends out a schedule. You get one on your email last week, and they'll remind you every Friday when you participate in the Zoom meeting to discuss the legislative process. You good for first thing?
I have a certificate of liability insurance from Hooker Engineering in the amount of $1 million to be placed on the minute.
Move to accept. I need a vote. I got a motion.
Second.
And a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Is that a renewal? Is that a renewal?
to, homestead exemption charge that, I need approval from the board to send the letters to the, taxpayers.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Second, Supervisor Gordon.
Second.
All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Which charge that do we have?
180, I think. What am I saying here? The Secretary of State has sent us a list of parcels that need to be canceled from the, railroad. And in communication with them, these parcels are 25 years old, but the tax assessor's office, once they do what they do, they will have to report them in the land record.
What do you need this board for?
Nothing. I'm just making you aware.
Is there a reason why they're being canceled?
These are parcels that had land patents issued at least 25 years ago. And it's like cleaning up the roll, but the assessor's office also has this list. And once they complete it, then those properties, if they can identify the owners or whatever, then those properties will come back on the county tax roll. That's right.
That's all you have?
Yeah.
All right. Mark is not in the room. Sheriff Department. Huh? You holding it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a notice of a reduction for Frederick McLeod. His building burned, and we didn't get a copy of the fire report, so we're requesting a reduction in his taxes for 2024 after an adjustment.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second. Where is this building located, Mark?
It's on, not Dulles, it's corner Valiant and Hines, that's correct, that is correct.
Is there no other questions? All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Western Line School District requested an exemption status for 2022. This letter comes to serve as notice of an apparent error in the timing of the exemption status of Western Line School District. Their exemption should have been applied for the year of 2022. It was subsequently added for 23 and the following years. I'm asking the board to allow a correction by voiding the 22 taxes due for PIN number 3519. The amount is $2,704.97 to be refunded to Odysseus Strategies LLC.
So moved.
I got a motion and a second. And everybody understand what you're about to do?
Yeah, somebody bought their building, am I correct?
Well, no, this is a house owned by Western Line School.
But I mean,
District out-
belongs to the school.
Yes,
Yeah,
out on Riverside
and
Road.
the school don't
It's one of
pay
those
taxes.
houses next to Riverside School.
Yeah, it's being used for storage now. It used to have a person in it, and they were collecting revenue off of it.
That's
Now it's vacant, it's just used for storage. Everybody good? All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And this was in 2022?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Motion carries.
Also, the Community Foundation of Washington County, this letter comes to serve as notice of an apparent error in the timing of the exemption status for the Community Foundation of Washington County. They requested exemption status in advance of taking ownership of their building in December of 2021. The exemption should have been applied for 22. It was subsequently added for the year 2023. Therefore, I'm asking the board to allow a correction by voiding the 22 taxes due for pins 10572 and 10573. The total amount of taxes that has incurred since that time is $8,697.51 to be refunded to Woodmark Investments LLC.
Whoa, oh, okay, Woodmart Investments. Board, you understand what's happening? Mark, why are they getting an exemption?
Well, they are an exempt entity. They requested the exemption for 22. They bought the building in 21. However, we did not apply the exemption until 23.
Are they a nonprofit?
Yes,
Are they doing work in the building?
yes.
So moved.
got a motion? Any other questions? You good, Mr. Attorney?
Not quite. So what's the basis of the exemption?
Well, first of all, they are an exempt entity. They conduct work such as raising funds for other nonprofit agencies throughout the county and in this general area. And
So
they,
why would that qualify as an exempt entity? For tax purpose? Correct.
Are they 501c3?
I imagine they are, yes.
All 501c3s are not exempt.
Yeah, that does not qualify them specifically.
Oh.
But,
So what is, can we postpone this so I can look at it?
Sure.
carefully?
I rescind my motion.
sure, thank you.
All right.
Yes.
Mr. Seer,
Yes, sir.
you gave me a list with some comparisons on it. Could you give me another copy of those? I want to share them today. On the properties that we were talking about that you had.
Right, I'll have to prepare that, I don't have.
Oh, my God, okay, I'll let them know. All right, but as soon as you can, I can get mine. I'll get mine and get them where they need to be.
Okay, all right. This is a letter. I'm here today to request a refund on a mobile home that was taxed for the year 2025 on the mobile home roll. The owner, Hunter Caldwell, paid the taxes on January 16th, 2025 in the amount of $417.31. On this day, Mr. Caldwell came in to file homestead on the mobile home. He paid $35 to place the mobile home on the land roll. Therefore, I'm requesting that the taxes be refunded to Mr. Caldwell since
The
he
company
paid
is 501c3. They've been
this fee.
since 1984. But you
The
need
mobile
to-
home roll will
it's
now
gotta
be
within
taxed
501c3.
with the land at the
Exclude
end
that.
of the 2025 year.
So moved.
I got a motion?
Okay.
And I need a second. Thank you, Tommy. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Have a request for travel. This travel is for June 23rd through the 25th. This is for the Mississippi Assessors and Collectors Association, which is held in Biloxi, Mississippi.
How much?
Probably $1,200.
So moved.
I got a motion? I need a second.
Sorry.
Thank you, Tommy. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion gets paperwork to the administrator.
Yes.
Ms. Griffin?
Yes, sir.
You and I was talking in the back about this, Walk of Faith, ministry.
Can't hear you, Mr. Griffin.
The Walk of Faith ministry, and you indicated you were not familiar with it, and that.
That's correct.
So, and you, but you told me that you think they had got a building?
Yes, sir. They do have a building on Highway 1 South.
Is the building utilized as a church?
I'm not familiar with it being utilized as a church. I know that a church is the owner of the entity. They have a ministry in the building, whereas they give away furniture to individuals that are in need.
They give an address of P.O. Box 3, 444 Holt Street, Mount Bayou.
Right.
Okay, but you don't know if any church being operated out of there?
I asked the gentleman that came into the office, when do they hold church service? And he was not able to answer that question.
Thank you, Mark.
We'll take a look at this one as well.
What is that,
They're
Nancy?
requesting, they're requesting that they be treated as an exempt property.
Need a motion to deny?
Ain't that church?
They have 22, maturity coming up. So,
Let me just explain what the problem is. All church properties are not exempt.
Nope.
From taxes, okay? And there's a limitation under section 79-11-33 on those properties. And certainly, this church appears to be, the exempt properties that it's entitled to all appear to be in Mount Bayou. So, I guess we need to look at this, that's the 1st of April.
I'm at board meeting. What's wrong?
The 3rd of April, Ms. Griffin.
Yeah, as soon as I get out.
Okay,
Bye.
well, Thursday, okay. you know, we just got this is dated 3/14/2025. So apparently they received some notice.
They received the notice, they came into the office, and we sent them to the assessor's office. The gentleman was here this morning, but he's gone, but the problem is the fact that the maturity, they're claiming that they have 501c3 exemption. If you read their letter, you'll see that they are mentors to other,
I understand.
nonprofits. So that's why we directed them to Mr. Sears' office.
All 501c3s are not exempt.
Yes, sir.
Secondly, all church properties are not exempt from taxes, okay? So, and we just get notice of this. I just saw it this morning for the first time. Sure. As I arrived at the meeting.
Mr. Sears was aware because the gentleman talked to him.
Well,
All right, what's next step, Mr. Attorney?
we're gonna have to postpone consideration of it because.
I need a motion for that, right? I got a motion on the floor, I never got a second.
Second.
And you, no. You might have to withdraw that motion.
This is Walk of Faith, and
No, that was on something
they're
else.
requesting tax exempt. Now, they also request that a deed be filed. In the
No.
post office.
All right.
No, so the deed has been filed already.
When was
So
it filed?
in 21. What happened was, the name, it was inadvertently not changed for some reason. I'm not real sure why it was not changed from Mallet to Walk of Faith Ministries. However, that has been corrected at this time, but it shows Mallet for the 22 year. Is that correct, Ms. Holmes?
Mallet, who is Mallet?
The previous owner of the building,
Okay.
which donated the building to them.
Now, under the law, either Mallet is, it depends on when that deed was,
Yeah, the deed was filed timely. It was filed in 21.
when in 21, you know?
December, I believe.
December 2021,
Yes.
and the taxes for 22? Correct.
The deed, I think, was filed in 18. I think that they was done in 17.
No, it was 21, Ms. Holmes.
Let me do this here. You all need to get together. Right now, I need a motion to postpone anything on this. Can I get a motion?
What-
And I need a second.
Second.
I think,
All in favor, show a sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. You all get together. We postpone. We're not doing anything with this today. Anything else for us, Mark?
yeah, Mr. McGee, I think what the problem is, though, Ms. Holmes is trying to get this taken care of prior to the maturity date.
And what's the
Yes.
maturity date?
I think April 3rd,
And what our next meeting?
April 7th.
Well, we do need to
Why is it
discuss
just
it
showing up?
then.
Who purchased the tax sale?
What's the question?
Who
Who
purchased
purchased at the tax sale?
I don't have a clue. I'm not looking at the paperwork.
Y'all not
But
ready?
the problem here is the failure to take it from Mallet's name into the church's name, so it was an error. And at the end of the day, the maturity, we are required by law to send a notice to the owner of record. That was Mallet, because the records had not been correct.
Correct.
Can I say
Okay.
something?
Please.
So, we became aware of it when the gentleman called us and asked about the maturity, okay?
Who was the gentleman who called you? From
The
Faith?
pastor from the church, yes, sir.
Mr. Johnson.
Ms. Brooks?
I mean, some of it's kind of simple. If we made a human error and we didn't change it, let's change it over. I mean, it's not that complicated.
Yeah, that has been done.
been
It's just a
failure.
question now of whether or not they
The
are
second
exempt.
question is whether or not they're entitled to an exemption.
So if this is a church and they have church there, do they have church there or they conduct business there?
Now, that's what we are unaware of, whether or not they have church. It's in the name of a ministry.
Business there.
I'm talking about church, they conduct their church and their business there in one location. Because we had a situation before where if the people had church there, if they parked their cars in a location, it's still part of church. You told us
Ms.
this.
Brooks, the church is in my Bible.
What if they have another church? Cause I remember,
Well, if they got a church in Washington County, we need to find it.
well, the reason why I'm saying is,
The Manley Building.
all right, Mr. Griffin,
Ms. Brooks,
can I speak?
let me finish.
I said, can I finish? I was talking, thank you. I remember Walk of Faith. Back in the day, Walk of Faith probably had about 8 churches all over this area. They had a location in Leland, they had a location in Hollandale, they had a location in Greenville. I used to go to their church. They are non-denominational. So the concern is, if they have, because it's not so much they just have, back in the day, I was in high school, I just remember they had a lot of churches, and I would visit those churches. So the concern is to identify if they're having churches in these locations.
I agree, 100%.
Okay.
And that's what the intent is, but we're up against an April 3rd finality date.
All right, so what's the recommendation? You may
No.
tell us. Go ahead, Lee, I'm sorry.
Well,
Have
in
a
you,
motion on the floor to postpone.
I didn't get a second.
in your investigation, you don't see they're having church there?
I don't see that they're having church.
And he did not tell you, you asked that question to him.
He explained to me that they have a ministry, and the ministry is the giving away of furniture to individuals that are in need
That
of
does
it.
not qualify for exempt, so I make a motion, we deny the exempt status.
I need a second. Thank you. Any other questions? Ms. Brooks, come on.
I guess the concern, if people are working in our community to help others, and it is a form of a ministry. A ministry in church don't mean that you got to be preaching 24/7. A ministry is giving back, and he just acknowledged that they giving to the people. We see what's going on in the Mississippi Delta, but we allow, I'm just going back to how we allow a agency that call itself a housing authority that really wasn't a housing authority, and they got taxes relieved for almost 20 years. But we got somebody that's really helping our community, giving housing supplies when people really need it, and we don't want to help people like that. No, that's wrong. That's selfish. And we call ourselves Christians.
It's still the law, the attorney said it does not qualify for
All
that.
right, anyone else?
So a ministry is a ministry.
That attorney says it does not qualify for that.
So your definition of ministry is you got to get in the pulpit and preach all day?
No,
Okay.
Ms. Brooks, the law says a church or an ecclesiastical ministry that has a building, you can have parking for the church, you can have a parsonage home for the pastor, or some other buildings within the curtilage of the church. If you have a service within that building, there's no evidence so far that there's any activity, realistic church activity going on, other than using it for some other purpose.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin. Anyone else?
And that's
I got a motion. Go ahead, come on.
Can I get, my only biggest concern is right here. It'd be different if they was doing a ministry and they were making money. Yes, pay taxes. But we talk about a ministry don't always mean that you got to get up and give a sermon. If they congregate and they helping people, that is a form of a ministry. I mean, that's just your personal definition, but what does the state definition mean?
I'm giving what the law is.
I tell you what, would you give it to me in writing? I'd like to give it in writing.
Ms. Brooks, let me know when you're done.
I'm done. Would you give it to me in writing?
Right.
I'm
'Cause
giving it to you in
not,
writing,
no.
Ms. Brooks.
I said me in writing.
All right, I got a motion on the floor to deny. I got a motion and a second. Any other conversation? All in favor of the motion to deny, show by sign of aye. Aye.
Nay.
I got one nay. Motion carries. Denial. All right. Anything else for us, Mr. Seer?
Yes, sir. The matter of taxes for Miss Joanne Norman. I did speak with the state, and the state informed me that the appraisal is proper and in order.
Okay.
I spoke with Miss Amy Butler, Miss Katrina Land, and Miss Talina Matthews.
Okay. I have those comparisons and I'll get them to Ms. Norman.
Okay.
And I'll just share them with her. It wasn't for the entire board, but I'll just I'll give Ms. Norman today and make sure she has that in her hands.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank y'all.
Sheriff?
morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Hey now.
We got from the Washington County Regional Correctional Facility, everyone have our meal logs from February 22nd to March 7th, 2025. We just want to make sure that the board reflects that in the minutes of the meal logs for those 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't you have to prove it?
Give that, accept.
So moved.
I got a motion. And a second. I second. All in favor, show of sign, right?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay, one nay.
I got one.
I've been voting nay the whole time because it wasn't done
Okay.
right from the beginning.
In the matter of homestead exemptions, we already did that. Okay, we get everyone? All right. Lee, we got an executive session.
Yeah, I do. Our last meeting, Ms. Brooks, you was on Zoom or tried to Zoom with us. Was you aware we could hear you?
Well, I don't know what you hear. I'm sure
Okay.
you
I was
do.
just curious if everything we heard was correct.
Oh, I don't know. You tell me what you heard.
I just heard somebody giving directives for this board meeting, so I'm just curious.
Oh, I don't know.
Somebody listens to that video real well, you can hear
Oh, I don't know.
something.
I don't know.
I'm
You
just
heard
curious.
something I didn't hear.
It's there.
Okay, you heard something I didn't hear. That's what I said.
You good, Tommy? Thanks, sir. Ms. Brooke?
Yes, the month of March. Let's talk about March. March is a wonderful month. It really is. Let me go back. So as we all know, March is the month, Women History's Month. And so when I think about women who have been very influential, not in my life, but for women's lives, you know, it puts a smile on my face because I think about where we are today, where women have come from. And it's even not about white or black women, it's just women have had a hard time in the United States of America. At one time, women couldn't vote. We couldn't vote. And at one time, poor men that they have land, white men couldn't even vote. They had to have land. But we've moved forward where women actually can vote and make a stand in our community. And one of my favorite quotes is by Fannie Lou Hamer. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And a lot of times I look where we are today in this world. Times are about to get hard. But I'm encouraging women to hold on, because we see what's going on in America today. I'm encouraging women to hold on. We have always been leaders across these lands of the United States of America. I'm encouraging women, don't give up. I'm encouraging you, if you have an ideal and you lose your job because of this new administration, I'm encouraging you to become an entrepreneur. Those opportunities are here today for us. And I'm talking to everyone that's listening to me because times are about to change for our communities, not only just Mississippi, but across the nation. And women, I just encourage you to continue to stand strong. Stand strong. Think about how your mothers and your grandmothers stood strong for us so we can reach out to the next generation and keep growing a stronger generation so we can have powerful women. Because women, at the end of the day, produce this nation. And so, ladies, I commend you on the work that you've done in your communities. I'm not going to call out no particular fashion, but I know sometimes we overlook homemakers, but them the strongest women I know. Also, in the month of March, we have Development Disabilities Awareness Month. Again, we have to continue to stay strong and be more knowledgeable on different disabilities that's going on in our communities. A lot of time we kind of overlook them, but I'm glad, like the program we have today, where we got some people that are somewhat challenged and they're still being a part in our community. And also the other concern, I'm looking at National Colon Cancer Month. And so the concern is we men and women, continue to get your annual, get your colonoscopy. And right now they're encouraging us at the age of 45, get that test. Because, you know, we having, you know, famous people dying from colonoscopy, from colon cancer, I'm sorry, because we just don't know or we're not doing the awareness. And remember, awareness is so important. Early detection is the key. Early detection is the key. So I encourage each of you, if you've not had your colonoscopy done yet, and you're 45, go get it done. Know what's going on with your body. Because at the end of the day, it is preventable. It's just a matter of getting checked out and knowing what's going on with your body. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Mr. President,
Hey, now.
before you go into executive session, there's one matter I'd like to revisit, and it pertains to that property over in Leland that was sold, and certainly this board had no authority to set aside the tax.
The drug sale?
Yes, sir, the tax deed. However, what we have discovered is that the property was properly sold for taxes in the name of Osceola, the prior owner. And because the school district acquired it, it could not be, a tax deed could not be issued against the school district. Penn Pacific, the recipient of that tax deed, has agreed to transfer the property back to the school district, which is proper, as the first step. The second step is this county will have to refund to Penn Pacific the amount it paid, which is approximately $22,000 for the property. The third step is this county then need to pursue Osceola to recover his $22,000 because they still owe that tax. Okay?
Question, board?
Question, how much they owe in taxes?
It's about $22,000.
So do you need a motion to give them to do what?
The motion is to refund the amount to Penn Pacific, because we don't have anything to do with the tax deed. They obligated to transfer that property back to the school district, because it should not have been, a tax deed should not have been issued.
So moved.
Okay,
That's the first thing.
well, let's just do it all in one motion.
Okay.
And to send a tax statement to Osceola demanding that they refund, they pay those taxes for the year, what was it, 2022 or 2021?
So moved.
I think it's 2022.
All right, I got a motion on the floor. Mr. Griffin, when did the school district take possession of the property?
Second. The school district took
Thank you, sir.
possession of it in the middle of the year, what is it, 2021?
All right.
Okay, the tax year that's in question.
All right, middle of 2021.
Yes,
With them taking possession.
It is 2021. It was executed in 2021.
With them taking possession in 2021, what does that do for the tax debt for that year?
the tax debt still is owed by the owner as of January 1. See, all taxes become due on January 1st.
All right, but it's the prior year that the tax.
No. For the year that the property was sold, 2021, the taxes become due on effective January 1st. Your taxes become due
what year?
of the tax year. For instance, 2020, the property was sold for 2021 taxes. That taxes became due on January 1st, 2021, and it was in the name of Osceola Properties. Okay, so Osceola Properties owe that money for 2021. Okay.
All right.
You got a
I
motion?
got a motion on, hey, come on.
The order is going to refund Penn Pacific.
That's
Right,
correct.
Penn Pacific paid.
What is your position on that receipt from that tax bill? Is that voiding it? That's all part of it.
The court will deal with that, okay?
Y'all can work that out.
Let me explain to you. There will be an agreement between Leland School District and Penn Pacific to transfer that property back. At that point, yes, the tax sale is not void, and here's the reason why the tax sale was not void, Ms. Holmes.
I'm gonna carry it.
Because-
No, I want to hear what he says.
No. The tax sale was in the name of Osceola, okay? We should have sent the tax statement and the notice to Osceola instead of the school district, all right?
But the purchase was made, and when they closed the sale, Mr. Griffin, they should have taken care of those taxes.
They didn't, if they didn't collect them, it's still in the name of Osceola. Osceola still owns.
All right,
So
I got
you
it.
should not have noticed the school district is what you're saying?
No.
I got a motion on the floor.
And the motion is, repeat the motion again so we all be on the same page.
the motion is simple. That the county refund the money to Penn Pacific.
And
To send notice and demand to Osceola for those taxes for 2021.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
and when they get their money back, they'll give the deed back to the
Anything else,
school.
Mr. Attorney?
Is that correct?
Yes,
Anything else, Mr. Attorney?
that's all.
Jerry, you good?
Yeah.
All right, we do have an executive session. We have several of them. I also would like to add potential litigation to it. What did we write down for executive session?
We have contract matters,
Contract negotiations, and now potential,
MEC and,
yeah, I know what the personnel we got. All right,
and the, Lake Lee property.
okay. Those contracts. All right. If I got everybody, I wanna thank you all for coming out. We'll go into the executive session. And for potential litigation, contract negotiation, and personnel matter. I need a motion to go into close to announce again our intent for executive.
So moved.
Thank you. Second. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're in, closed session right now. We're gonna move to executive session. Appreciate y'all. We're only gonna be a few minutes, hopefully. All right, we're going to executive session.
stand for what you said
All
about
right.
it and put out there and lie on me too. Be
I ain't
mindful.
lying on you. You gotta lie on
Oh,
me.
you hate.
I love you too much for
No,
that.
you would lie to me numerous
I
times.
love you
When
too
you
much for
say I
that.
work for somebody, that's a lie.
I just asked a question.
No, you
Cause I
asked
can't
several
tell up in here
times.
sometimes.
No, but that's okay. A lie's a lie.
I can't tell. Well, you just gotta tell me. I can't
No, I
tell.
ain't gonna tell you, but you put that out there to create people to create start lying on me. That's the truth. Well, stop lying on me then. If you lie on me, you lie on me, then I'm gonna bring it up. A lie is a lie,
And
Mr.
you the
President.
biggest liar in the room.
I'm the biggest liar in the room because of what you said.
We out.
Thank you.
All right. I need a motion to adjourn to the first meeting of the month, the 3rd of March.
So moved.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
We out. There it is. April. Oh, I went tomorrow. April 7th. April 7th. We out.
Mr. Griffin.